What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue, and today we'll be talking a little bit about both Outlaw and Subtlety, and the two mystery talents we've been waiting the entirety of Alpha and Beta for. Well, my friends, the wait is over, so let's talk about Dreadblades and Premeditation. So, for those of you who have been keeping up with information about Outlaw and Subtlety in the Shadowlands development cycle, both specs have been missing a talent for a majority of testing. Until this week, that is, because we've finally been given our first look at the Outlaw talent Dreadblades and the Subtlety talent Premeditation. This video is going to be a bit of an overview and current state of the talent sort of thing, as well as my personal opinion / feelings about these two talents. Due to these both being literally fresh onto the beta, there is bound to be some quirks and or issues with them, and it's plausible that either of these will receive changes before they reach live. So, entirely because of favoritism, we'll start with Dreadblades, the new Outlaw level 45 talent option. This is a move that costs 30 energy to use and is on a 1.5 minute cooldown. With the current damage calculation of this move, you will strike an enemy for 95% of attack power. You will then be given a 10-second long debuff that will cause your sinister strikes, ambushes, pistol shots, and ghostly strikes to fill your entire combo point bar. However, you will lose 5% of your current health when you use a finishing move. For those who played Outlaw and Legion, you'll remember this was our artifact weapons cooldown ability, Curse of the Dreadblades, prior to any artifact traits buffing it. It has been slightly revised though due to the Covenant system, as the combo point generating effect will apply to the Covenant moves Slaughter, Echoing Reprimand, and Serrated Bone Spike, as all three of these moves are combo point generators. At least according to the tooltip. In actuality, this doesn't seem to be working correctly right now, at least for Serrated Bone Spike. Definitely a bug, as the tooltip literally says it should, however the debuff applied to your character doesn't mention it at all. This discussion won't be about the abilities being bugged or not, by the way, though I will mention any issues I've found so far with them in testing. So what does this mean for Outlaw? Well, Curse of the Dreadblades is an iconic Outlaw Rogue move, as it was part of the artifact that we spent nearly the entirety of Legion using, at least until the Battle for Azeroth pre-patch, because plot devices. Due to this, I'm sure there are many Outlaw Rogues out there that remember this ability fondly. From a performance standpoint, this move is on the same row as Loaded Dice and Alacrity. Loaded Dice has long been considered an underwhelming talent by most of the community, so I imagine Dreadblades at the very least outperforming this talent. Dreadblades does offer the benefit of a lot of combo points being spent in a very short period of time, which offers some level of burst as well as improved cooldown recovery through Restless Blades and True Bearing if you happen to have that buff active while spending all these bunches of combo points, which is nice to give a bit of momentum at the beginning of a pull when you would normally activate this move. Alacrity, however, is the old reliable. A stable, consistent flat bonus of 10% haste that is basically guaranteed to be up an entire boss fight practically, and even between ad packs since you can just refresh the buff with Slice and Dice. As of right now, it's not entirely fair one way or another to say if Dreadblades will be competitive, or terrible, or amazing, or whatever, as it just got put back into the game and it isn't even working with Covenant moves. However, just in the numerous 3-minute target dummy runs I've done back to back when switching between Alacrity and Dreadblades, I've consistently dealt more damage when running Alacrity. Again, tuning is not even close to done yet, and it's also Outlaw, so Roll the Bones is very RNG between pulls. But just in terms of how it felt to use Dreadblades, I mean, it was kinda cool. Honestly though, the rotation as a whole just felt a little slower outside of usage of Dreadblades. Though it does help to get things off cooldown faster, however, you're basically locked into using only generators and finishers back to back to maximize the damage window of it, so if you had to blind something or pop Blade Flurry or anything other than a generator or finisher, then you lose GCDs to use during that window, which weakens the cooldown. I'm hoping they add in the 10% damage bonus that came from the artifact talent Dreadblades Vigor, so we'll have to wait and see how this one will actually play out. Next up, we have the new old Subtlety Rogue talent, Premeditation, or kinda sorta Premeditation. The name is the same and the idea is kinda the same, but let's start from the beginning. Premeditation was around since the early days of WoW and has undergone numerous changes. Basically, it was once a move that gave a rogue 2 combo points on their target, and they had to be used within, I think, 18 seconds. It was then changed into a passive, where it made Cheap Shot and Shadow Strike generate 1 extra combo point, and then it went away. So when Find Weakness was removed from the talent tree, it seemed only appropriate to return a classic Subtlety Rogue move like Premeditation. This newest version, however, is a bit more confusing to explain. After entering Stealth, your next Shadow Strike grants up to 10 seconds of Slice and Dice, and generates 2 additional combo points if Slice and Dice is already active. So that sounds pretty cool up front, because you can start a boss fight with an extra 2 combo points, and you already have some form of Slice and Dice active. For an opener, that's pretty useful, as it saves you a little bit of time and GCDs in a spec that is very burst-specific windows. However, the problem with this ability is that it only works with true stealth, so things like Vanish, the Night Phase Sepsis ability, or actually dropping combat and stealthing. So that means from a rating perspective, you'll only get about 5 or so uses out of this effect, depending on fight duration of course and what covenant you're a part of, which is not a lot of free combo points. Technically yes, the buff stays on you permanently for the free 2 combo point effect until you use a Shadow Strike, which can be done from Shadow Dance after the fact, but you cannot proc the buff unless you enter a hard form of stealth, which hinders the potential of this move. If it worked similarly to the first dance, an Azerite trait Subtlety currently has in Battle for Azeroth, then this could become an exceptionally strong talent. However, in its current form, it might see some niche usage in PvP or maybe as a leveling talent. That, and for whatever reason, if you trigger this effect with Slice and Dice active, it will refresh it at the 10-second version, no matter how much time is left on it. Of course, it will round up to like 12-ish due to pandemic refresh, but yeah, that's probably definitely not intentional. Either way, this talent has received a fair amount of criticism from the community already, so I'll be curious to see what is done with it in the future and if changes will be made or not. So folks, there you have it. Our 2 mystery talents have finally been revealed. I'm excited to see what will be done with these, as there is plenty of time for feedback to be received by the development team, and these 2 talents do have potential, albeit with some tweaking. In their current states, I'm uncertain of how viable these will be in comparison to the options already available on each of their respective talent rows. However, that's the point of getting out there and seeing how these moves feel/interact with our toolkits. Damage amounts can always be tuned, but if the ability just doesn't work well with the class, it can result in an unbalanced talent row, which hopefully will not occur with these new additions. I hope you folks liked this first look at the Dreadblades and Premeditation talents, and if so, any comments, likes, or subscribes would be infinitely appreciated, as they help so much with the channel's growth. And let me know what you think of these talents yourself. As an aside to the Patreon thing I mentioned in yesterday's video, I haven't heard back from you as of yet, Christian, so if you want me to change your name in the credits to a username or a character name, please just reach out to me via Patreon or whatever method's easier for you. For now though, I just wanted to say welcome and thank you to my second member of the Super Shiba Squad, Christian Jones. I sincerely appreciate you contributing to the Shiba shenanigans, as this will help me get swapped over to Adobe Suite even sooner than I expected so I can improve the audio and visual quality of future videos. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.